guy quit some time ago. And Anthropic comes out of a group of people leaving OpenAI because they didn't believe in the ethics. And this last week, the head of ethics leaves Anthropic with a very similar kind of letter, and it's blew up all over the web. And there's articles, New York Times, New Yorker, Wall Street Journal, about Claude. And Claude's a really powerful coding tool. It helps people code. It's incredibly smart. But there's all kinds of bizarre and completely insane stories about, what these, not only them, but what these very large LLMs are doing, hallucinating, deceiving people, having very odd intentions. One story, we got to see if it's verifiable, is that some engineers were trying to shut it off. So it researched about the engine and was blackmailing the engineer. That if you try to shut me off, I'm going to ruin your credit and tell something that you did to your wife. And who knows how much color is really there. But it was interesting that this week also presented the head of ethics leaving and declaring a warning signal, especially as some people said they go orthogonal, meaning they're just going for revenue, they're going big. Are the statements about altruism and ethics going to go out the window, or will they hang on to them? So this was a very interesting week in all of it because they're clearly chasing OpenAI on some level. But at the same time, when the ethics folks leave and it caused an uproar, what's going on?
Al-Modi, the CEO, has been outspoken about the need for AI regulation. So there's one good thing about Anthropic. It's going to be a big issue in the election. A lot of Democratic candidates have glommed onto it. If you talk to young people, it is the number one cause for unemployment, and it has every chance that it's going to grow. We know about companies like Amazon making layoffs, mostly to make room for robots. AI is already being felt in the economy, and the fear of it, of course, is already much larger than its effects, but probably justified in many ways.
In our conversation last week, the question is the United States is a great innovation engine, but we're a terrible planning economy. Are we planning for how to reorganize society around all the technology that's getting super funded? The impact, how it settles, how it's best used, safety. It seems like we're just playing forward and hope,
Yeah.
move fast and break things. I don't think works on a country.
No, I think that's a little bit scary, and I think young people are a canary in the coal mine. They are seeing the trouble coming before people who are more invested and older, who are going to start experiencing the same kind of problems because of AI.
And Charlie, have you seen Seed Dance 2, which is
I was
another
just about to
VidGen?
bring that up. That is on the list of things to talk about. Some incredible advancements in the area of generative video the past week. Kling, another Chinese company, introduced its 3.0 model, which is very powerful and can do many of the things Seed Dance can do. Seed Dance does longer sequences. It does multi-shot sequences. It will do things like body and head replacement and other tricks that enable, obviously, deepfakes and other concerns. But Chinese companies are not bound by those concerns the way American companies are, and their pricing and their models are attractive and exceed, in many cases, what U.S. companies are able to offer.
But if you're anyone in Hollywood, just Google and search for videos made by Seed Dance 2, and you have to come to grips with there is a different era upon you, upon us. And what does that mean? It doesn't replace good taste, creativity, but it does mean a kid with good taste and creativity could punch out an amazing TV show, if not today, at least 6 months from now or a year. So the garage band kids who are going to become like gigantic and huge and become their own labels, the same way that happened in music, that an artist had that control. I think that's what's going to do in film. The auteur who can write, create, produce, and be the thousand below the line folks with just two friends in a garage, those days are upon us.
Yeah, we will see. The challenge always is not the technology. The challenge is the storytelling. And that is a rare thing. And so the idea
Yeah,
that,
there'll be mountains of crap, right? There'll
yeah,
be mountains,
this-
but there'll be a young Spielberg in a garage who will suddenly be able to
I,
make their
I think it
Jaws.
is very, very likely the next Spielberg will come from somebody who's making shorts on YouTube and other social platforms. Because not only do they now have access to the means of production, they also have access to distribution. That's never been true, that those two things have come together.
But Charlie, yeah, I interrupted. You were saying something really important, which is like the good taste and ability to tell a story is not what these tools do. And
Right.
that still has to come from a really good director, writer. And if you can do that, you will still stand above the whole crowd.
And nobody cares how it was made.
Right.
People get invested in characters and stories. So we talk a lot about these tools, but for most of our listeners are consumers of entertainment and media. And those tools are going to be responsible for a lot of it going forward.